Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from here at Black Facts Headquarters Central. Another day, another holler. Yes, Lord, we're ready to go today. Let's see what we have for you this noon time. Before eating, open thy mouth. Now that's a Mauritanian proverb, but keep in mind you have to think about who translated this, who put it into English, because don't know Africans speak like that. Before eating, open thy mouth. Who says that? Okay, so you would only Shakespearean actors talk like that. We don't even talk like that in America. So these proverbs, as I'm reading them to you, just keep in mind you can. There's more than one way to interpret them, but the idea is before eating, open thy mouth, and we say that to go into our story, as a lead in to our story today about the woman of mystery, Mary Ellen Pleasant. Everybody likes a mysterious woman. Well, Mary Ellen Pleasant was one of the most mysterious, is still one of the most mysterious women of all time, because her mysteries have lasted all the way down through the ages, and lots of people trying to document and going back through the records, and she's still a woman of mystery. So today we're going to read a short poem from Gil Scott-Heron's book, Now and Then. Now and Then. The poem for today is called Spirits. The world spins around us. We search for a balance. The secrets lie in darkness and light. Our lives are like treasures, unveiled as perfection, a gift to us from spirits on high. Equate us, combine us to seek the answers beyond our sight. Yes, I told you I picked these quick. I don't take a whole lot of time ruminating on them, but trust and believe that one fits the bill for today as we continue to talk about Mary Ellen Pleasant and the House of Mystery, because not only was she a mystery, even her house was a mystery, or I should say is a mystery, because it's still quite mysterious. So let's see, where did we leave off yesterday? Oops, better keep these on. Okay. All right, so yesterday we had talked about Mary Ellen Pleasant and how she got to San Francisco. We talked about her husband, Mr. Pleasant. That was her second husband. And we also talked, because her first husband left her a lot of money. And then we talked about her daughter, Lizzie, who reportedly passed away while she was still in her 20s. All the while, Mary Ellen Pleasant worked. She never lost sight of her abolitionist leanings and continued to support many fugitive slaves. She even rode into rural areas, challenging people who held slaves illegally. She paid to bring blacks west and found them lodging and employment when they arrived. Some say that she placed former slaves as servants in wealthy homes to glean investment information. Mary Ellen donated large sums of money to the Convention of Colored Citizens of the state of California. In 1858, she hid the fugitive Archie Lee in her home after his controversial trial. She and many black San Franciscans supported his right and the subsequent right of all blacks to live in the state unencumbered by others. In 1859, when she was 45, Mary Ellen went to extreme measures in her passion to fight slavery. She traveled to Boston to learn more of John Brown's proposed slave insurrection. Brown, a militant abolitionist from the East, planned to raid the National Armory and Arsenal at Harper's Ferry. In fact, John Brown used to live right here in Kent, Ohio. In Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. He was to use the stolen guns to organize a rebellion and establish a base in the Blue Ridge Mountains from which to rescue slaves. Mary Ellen Pleasant traveled to Chatham, Canada, where Brown resided, and funded his cause, donating $30,000. Brown was to postpone the attack until Pleasant could arouse support by riding through the countryside disguised as a jockey, alerting fellow blacks to the insurrection. Excuse me, let me go back. Brown was to postpone the attack until Pleasant could arouse support by riding through the countryside disguised as a jockey, alerting fellow blacks to the insurrection. So she apparently planned to be an actual participant, not just a donor. She planned to participate. It's an in-kind donation, you could call it, to this insurrection. Brown did not wait, though. The attack on the federal government failed miserably. Executed. An incriminating letter written by Mary Ellen Pleasant, or M.E. Pleasant, was discovered on Brown's person, stating, "The axe is laid at the root of the tree. When the first blow is struck, there will be more money to help." Fortunately, the initials M.E.P. were misread as W.E.P. Mary waited for things to quiet down and then sailed back to California, undetected, under an assumed name. Mary Ellen Pleasant fervently fought racial discrimination in San Francisco. In 1863, she was involved in the fight for Black people's right to testify in a court of law. Then on September 27th, 1866, Mary Ellen was refused a ride on a San Francisco streetcar because of the color of her skin. She and her husband were involved in a 2-year lawsuit against the North Beach and Mission Railroad Company, the NBMRR, which resulted in her being awarded $500. In an appeal, however, the Supreme Court reversed this decision, stating that the NBMRR had not instructed the driver to refuse her passage, nor was it done with malicious intent. Because no indignity, no oppression, no outraged or wounded feelings, no injured sensibilities appear in the case, Mrs. Pleasant was simply refunded her 5-cent fare. Still, this case thrust her into the public spotlight as a crusader for civil rights. It wasn't until 1893 that an anti-discrimination law was passed. As we said earlier about these kinds of court cases, winning a decision or getting a settlement is only one part, because a number of things can happen afterwards, including not getting paid. So we always want to keep that in mind anytime we're dealing with one of these judgments coming out of a court. There's always a possibility that you can win, but your winning is still losing because you never get paid. In the late 1860s, when Mary Ellen Pleasant was in her mid-50s, she devised another money-making scheme. She moved to San Francisco's Portsmouth Square and set up a boarding house that catered to the city's elite business and political circles, casting herself in the socially acceptable role of innkeeper. Once again, Nobody suspected otherwise. The financial wizards of her day made their way to her upscale establishment at 920 Washington Street, which provided a private arena for its high-class patrons to conduct business. Mary Ellen Pleasant made a point of getting to know anybody worth knowing in town and soon gained the confidence of such prominent men as David Terry, D.Q. Mills, W.C. Ralston, Newton Booth, and Lloyd Tevis, whoever they are, because I never heard of none of them. While she catered to and stroked the egos of investors, politicians, and well-connected businessmen, every bit of inside information as before, she used the profits she attained in precious minerals, mines, stocks, and real estate to finance philanthropic activities and causes. So Mary Ellen Pleasant wasn't just going out buying Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton and things of that nature. She was taking all of her wealth and plowing it right back into fighting for these devoting it to philanthropic causes. Philanthropy, okay? Phil means love. Anthropy means people. So her love of people weighed her love of things, because certainly she had lots of money to buy all the things that she wanted. In 1877, Mary Ellen Pleasant built a sprawling 30-room Victorian boarding house that covered 2 city blocks. The lavishly furnished $100,000 mansion on the corner of Octavia and Bush was dubbed the House of Mystery. Now, keep in mind, they're not saying this here, but I know this to be a fact. That house sat on the top of Nob Hill. Okay, they always talk about Nob Hill. That's where all the rich so-and-sos live, on the top of Nob Hill. And that's where Mary Ellen Pleasant put her mansion at. They covered 2 full city blocks. Rumors as to exactly what went on inside the swank establishment were rampant. Its exclusivity made some raise their eyebrows. The place was often rumored to be a brothel, okay, a hoe house. For those of y'all who don't know what a brothel is. Indeed, Pleasant was the keeper of many secrets and very well could have provided such a service as a fringe benefit for her patrons. It could be, though there was never any proof of such. Others who visited to discredit Pleasant suggested that she worked voodoo, because, you know, that's always what we do. We always engaging in that voodoo, hoodoo, woodoo on the men to keep them under her control. The accusations may have stemmed from people's inability to comprehend how a Black woman could move so freely within white society. Inside the mansion, on the other hand, Mary Ellen Pleasant was recognized as a shrewd businesswoman. Men were said to seek her out for exchanges of information. Since she knew and safeguarded their secrets, perhaps they in return honored the disguise she found it necessary to wear in order to operate in a white world that wasn't really they weren't really feeling a Black woman operating in their world. One such gentleman whom Mary Ellen came to know well was millionaire Thomas Bell, vice president of the Bank of California, who, by the way, made his millions off her dealings. Whatever she invested in, he invested in. He and Pleasant enjoyed a mutual admiration for each other's business acumen. They sought each other out for financial advice, and by the 1870s, they had become business partners, commingling their joint ventures. Bell was known as Pleasant's personal friend and business partner. And there's a whole book out there just on Thomas Bell. So you can pick that up too. But when he took up residency in the mansion, the nature of their relationship came under suspicion. The rumors subsided when Thomas Bell married one of Mary Ellen's proteges, because she had many proteges, not just Black, but white as well. Women of ill repute no repute, or just puted, okay? Women who had no real connections. She took them under her wing, trained them up, dressed them up, and then presented them to her rich, wealthy, white gentleman friends. And then she kept a record. She had a little black book where she kept everybody's names, where they came from, what their original names were, etc. Because she turned Sally Mae into Jessica Parker Anheld or whatever. You know, she come up with some name for him. So the rumors subsided when Thomas Bell married one of these proteges, Teresa, but the suspicion never went away. Some of the stances Mary Ellen Pleasant took and the causes she supported put her into the state and national limelight, and under the scrutinizing eye of a society not always eager, to say the least, to see her succeed. Pleasant financed the legal battle of another protege, Sarah Althea Hill, in a highly publicized divorce from her very wealthy husband, the former U.S. Senator William Sharon from Nevada. Now, you remember at this time, divorces happened because somebody did something wrong. You couldn't just get out of a marriage because you were unhappy. That wasn't a reason for divorce. You had to have proof that they were unfaithful, okay, or some had committed some other kind of act that would justify before a judge in a court you're getting a divorce in the first place. The notorious case lasted 4 years, bringing Mary Ellen repeatedly to the witness stand. The defense lawyers and press had a field day trying to destroy her credibility, attacking her reputation, her business relationships, and her finances. They started rumors that Mary Ellen's mother had been a voodoo queen from Louisiana and that Mary Ellen practiced voodoo herself. She survived the negative publicity of Sharon versus Hill, but not totally unscathed. The accusations against her character were damaging, and financial support for Sarah Althea Hill cost her $65,000. Now, I'm throwing all these numbers out. 30,000 over here, 65,000 over here, 100,000 over here. This is back in the day when $1 was a whole week's pay for a lot of people. And Mary Ellen has got 65,000. I'm just to throw out there over a 4-year period. Mary Ellen Pleasant sought refuge at her spacious ranch, which I'm just now realizing that she even had this ranch, or else I'd gone to visit it. Beltane in Sonoma Valley, which she purchased in 1891. While it was a great getaway, her troubles continued to follow her. The next year, Thomas Bell died at Pleasant's Victorian Mystery House, and his death was ruled suspicious. Bell had fallen over a second-story banister to his death in the middle of the night. Once again, the press tore apart Mary Ellen Pleasant, now 73 years old. It was rumored that she had pushed him over in an attempt to collect a measly $100,000 from him. Come on now. The woman dropped that in that wasn't even any money. But no evidence was ever presented, however, and when the will was probated, Pleasant was not even mentioned in the will. Not much of a motive, I say. The case was subsequently dropped. For more than 20 years, the Bell family had lived in Pleasant's mansion on Octavia. Mary Ellen Pleasant had continued to manage all of their business and personal finances, as well as social engagements. In 1897, 5 years after Bell's death, his eldest son, then 22, challenged the legal guardianship of his own mother, who had given Pleasant control of the family's finances. Mary Ellen was understandably taken aback. Accusations of being unfit to manage the affairs that she had expertly handled for so many years. Additionally, she had housed the entire Bell family, including 6 children, all that time. Every aspect of Pleasant's finances and personal relationships with the Bells became public knowledge during the trial. Thanks to reporters all too happy to drag her name through the mud. Once again, in the end, Pleasant's facade as the Bell servant had been chipped away. The judge ruled that such a lowly status should preclude her from any fiduciary management for the family. Now, you know, it's really a shame. I only got a page and a half to go. My time has definitely run out. So I'm going to have to end this story right here. And I'm going to make a special dispensation. And I'm going to finish that last little bit on Monday. And then we'll start some new stories, a whole new series of stories on African-American or Black explorers of the West. We're going to do a whole piece for the following week, the last week of September. We're going to do a whole piece on Black explorers of the West. But meanwhile, I hope I've left you with a smile and I didn't rile. But right now, it's time for me to go and end this show. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing out without a doubt. So please, we're still looking for more donations to our PayPal account. Just send it as a money to a friend. Do not send it as a payment. Our email address again is kkhemet@gmail.com. Peace out without a doubt, y'all. Have a good day. And we'll be black tonight at 9. Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing out.